horizontal. So today we are going to do vertical lines. Yeah. So some of you may still be stuck with part 1 and you have no idea where to get out of that, but it's very good and okay. So try again, view the video again, watch it again, get it to your simplest way of understanding it. Part 2 is going to help you maybe get out of that. Please, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. May you please watch this video and see how our vertical line is going to help us to come with our bodies. Yes, the bodies which at the end of the day you're going to cut and make for yourself an outfit out of it. So let's get it started. We get to the work. Oh yeah. Thank you. May you stay tuned. Okay, so let's come to our horizontal line. And our horizontal line, we shall start getting right away our shoulder line. Our shoulder line, and how do we get our shoulder line? We are going to divide the 15, which I've got. I don't know how many you have got on your shoulder line. So me, I've got 15 and I've divided by 2. So I'm going to add 0.5 on it for ease. So like we are going to use our tape measure. So I'm going to get my tape measure and I will bring this to 15. I'm going to bring this to 15 and I'll put it right here and then I'll mark right away 15. And then we said that we are going to add 0.5. I'll add it right here. Okay, now I would like to explain why I divide it by 2. The reason why I divide this by 2, let me get on my model and I give you more details to it. These are my models. I hope you can see them. And when we measured our bodies, when I was measuring my shoulder line, I did from this corner to this. Okay, so that means I did from here to here, and our body parts are like this. 1, 2. So that means the only thing I did is 1, 2. That's why I divide my 15 by 2, and I decide to add 0.5. So our shoulder is right here, and I've marked here. Are you together? Have you understood something here? So I didn't measure all around. If I'm to measure front part well, this is back. Let me write. This is back part and this is front part. If I'm to measure here as well, that means I will to add this as well. So my part will be 1, 2, 3, 4. But the only thing I did was I measured this part to this. So the measurement I've got here, I'm going to just divide it by my back part without in front part. So what I've got here is from this to here, and that is, let me see, it is 8 inches. Because when I divide my 15 by 2, it has given, when I divide 15 by 2, I got 7.5, and I have to add half, that is 8. So I'm going to square it up to my bust line. I'm going to square it, so I'll bring 8.8 inches here. And when I said I'm going to square it, I'll get my ruler and rule it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to curl with the arrow. Please always indicate from here to this line and this line. It's shoulder line, that is 15 divided by 2 plus 0.5, that is 8 inch. And that is the same thing here, 8 inch. And then I square it together. Okay, so that is our first vertical line. Remember I told you this is going to be we are looking for the vertical line. That is first vertical line. We have got it here. Now let's come to the waist. Our waist is 30. My waist, the measurement I got from my waist is 28, and I'm going to divide bust. The measurement I got from my bust is 34. 34, I am going to divide it by 4, and I'll add 1 inch. And I'll give you why I'm going to add 1 inch. So let us divide the 34. 34, where are you? We shall use our tape measure. This is 34. 34. Good. And I'm going to bring it right here. Yes, you see that? Right there. And I will put it right here. It has given me. Remember we did our bust, we divided before when we are getting the armhole, and this is my first line. So this to here is 8.5. And I'm going to add 1 inch. The mistake most people do make is they first do the addition, they first add the whole thing, they add 34 plus 1, and then they divide it by 4. And that is where actually you will get wrong. So that means you're already adding another inch to your bust, and it's going to be big. So when you divide it by 4, you're already dividing 35 bust, not 34. So my 1 inch is going to be separate, and that is going to be allowance for an ease, and even the seam allowance if at all I'm doing a straight fabric. So this is going to be for, I do not need a very tight thing, so I've added an allowance for the seam allowance. That's why you have added 1 inch to your bust line. So this is my 1 inch, and I've indicated it right here. So as well, I'll explain why I divided bust by 4. I remember I measured, let me get my model, I measured D by 4. I need to do something right. So I divided my bust by 4 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. Okay? Have you understood something? Yeah, so I'm just going to put here this. And I'm just going to indicate what I've done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get from here to this part here. And this part, before we forget, please let us call this. There is already 0, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. Let's call this part 0, 1, 2, 3. Let me use black pen. Okay, red. 3. And then this part we shall call it part 4. Okay. So there is this. Now this is 5. These dots, please note them. So from 2 to 5, that is our bust. Bust, that is 34 divided by 4 plus 1 inch. And it has given us 9.5 inch. Your measurement may be different from mine. As long as you are using the same formula, it will work for you. So let us come to the front part. The waist. My waist is 28, and I'm going to divide it by 4. Please always divide it first before you add. So let us divide that. Ooh. So we are going to divide it. We will divide it. Waist divide 34 divided by 4. No, 28. Sorry, 28 divided by 4. 28 divided by 4. I'm just going to. After doing this, I'm going to put it right away from here and mark. See, I've got my first line is 7, so that is 7, and then I'm going to add 2 inches. 1, 2. Please indicate those lines, especially when you are this is your first time drafting these bodies. I have drafted this many times, and I don't think I can really make a mistake, but if you do make mistakes, it's okay. Get another paper and draft again. We learn by doing mistakes. So the same thing I did to waist. I divided by 4. The reason being this I measured from here and then again there. So this I did the whole with it, and my body parts are 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to divide it. Surely I have to be good to both parts, all the parts of my body. Yeah. So. This part where we end here, how about we call it 6? We call it part 6. This dot we shall call it 6. Yes, the dot we shall call it 6. And the another horizontal, no, the vertical line, what we are going to do is we shall just get our ruler and this directive, we join it there. So about this line, about this horizon, these lines, you don't measure them, you just join it. What I like about vertical lines, you just join the points 5 to 6. I'm just joining this point to give me this this part of my body. Have you seen this part of your body? You just join to give you this. Yes. That is the part we have just joined. Okay, so as well, I would like to indicate this from 1 to 6. From 1 to 6, I'm just going to give this arrow, that is 28, that is my waist. I divide it by 4 and I add in 2 inches. Now you could be asking why is 2 and why is here 1. 1 inch, we are going to do this with that. I hope you're familiar with that. So 1 inch, this is going to be, this 1 inch is going to be, this 1 inch is going to be our dart allowance. And again, there is this other inch, it's going to be our seam allowance. Okay, so when you are cutting this on fabric, especially when you are doing a straight fabric or other fabric, the allowance, maybe you can give it 0.5, because we have already included the allowance, and when you give it a more allowance, it will going to be big, especially when you are doing fitting. So the reason why I've given it 2 is this. 1 is for seam allowance and 1 is for dart allowance. That's as simple as it is. So now, from point 0 to 6, we have really given it a structure. Now what we need to do is we need to shape it. We need to shape it. You see, you can see your body. Your body is so good and nice, and you can clearly see here that your shoulder is not this flat. 0 to 3, it is so flat. What are you going to do? So we shall do now shaping. This is the first the second stage you need to reach. When you reach here, you are good to go. And when you see your shoulder, so your shoulder slopes a bit, okay? Your shoulder slopes. So how about we do the sloping on our shoulder, and you can see that your neck is not like this. Your neck curves, okay? So we shall do the standard neck size. Standard neck size. It is 3 inches. For an front part, both it's 3 inches. What do I mean? So what I'm going to do is from 0 to here, I'm going to go 3 inches. As well from this down, I'm going to go 3 inches. Okay? 3 inches, 3 inches for the front part. You'll find you'll get this curve. So when it reaches to the curve, this is where you need your French curve, you need your curved ruler, but as well, I learned to do free curve. I just use my hands, but here I'm going to show you how you can do, how you can curve using ruler. So that is my neck size, okay? That is my neckline. Now, let's come to the shoulder. So what I'm going to, this part, this point, let's call it A, and this part, let's call it B. So 0 to A, it is 3 inches, and 0 to B as well, 3 inches, and then you give it a curve. So let's come to point 3. Now, point 3, we are going to do the shoulder slope of we are going to slope it, and we shall slope it by 1 inch. So from 3 we shall go 1 inch down this point, okay? We shall call this point 6, 7. Yes, let's call that point 7. So we shall get our ruler and get it right from our neck point and come sloping. So our neck point is no longer on 0, it is on A. So A to 7, can we rule that line right away? A to 7, let me rule it. Oh, this is A to 7. Now, are you seeing a shape coming here? That is very right. Now, this line, what I'm going to do is, remember I called this line top line. I knew that I will come at the end of the day, give you shoulder line. And this line I am going to join here 1 inch. I'm just looking for accurate line and give it a dot and call it shoulder line. Yes, that is now my shoulder line. That is my shoulder line. Now, there is a cover line. Now, how do you find a cover line? There is so many ways to do a cover line. Some people divide bust by 6. Others, I don't know how they do it. Now, you could be asking, how do I do mine? Now, what I found out so much easier for me is, what I'll do is, I'll just get right from 7 to 4, the midpoint from 7 to 4 is where my middle, and I'm going to use my tape measure. Have you seen what I've done? That point is where I'm just going to indicate mine. And this point, how about we call it point 8. And this is point 8. So this point is where I am just going to, this is where I am just going to give it cover line. And this point is a cover line. Okay, so on this cover line, we shall move in 0.5. Right on this cover line, we are going to move in 0.5 inch. So that you need to measure it, otherwise you go wrong. Let me measure it. 0.5 is right here. 0.5 is right here. Now on the 0.4, you need to get accurate 45. Remember, this is 90 degree, so we need to get 45 on that. So for me, I am going to go in 1 inch out from 0.4. I'm just going to do that to give it curve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve my armhole. You should know that our armhole is not that so straight. Like whenever you are doing your bodies, you find that this comes like this and joined like that. So this is exactly what we are going to do. Okay? So can we curve that together? You may use your free hand, and then as well you can use your roller. So I'm going to get from this 0.7 to 8, and I'll go where my 0.5 is, where I've moved in. It's right there, and I'll come in and join. Yeah. Do you see that? Do you see? Yes. This is the curve I really need you to get, especially when you reach to this. So there, I think we are good to go. What next do we need? We have already reached so far 0.8, and the only thing next we need here is that we need to do the fitting. So for that, the standard, especially those of you who are size 8, 10, 12, me I do size 10, and if your bust is 32, 34, 36, probably maybe 37, you can use standard measurement, and standard measurement for a dart. Standard dart size, it is 3.5. Let us see if I do use 3.5 as well. So what I do most times is I get my actual waist size, and this is my actual waist size. I divide it by 2. Let me see if it will give me that. It is 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just divide it by 2, because people most times they give you the standard, and what happens to the standard is some people are fat and some people have big stomach. So you find that that is going to be packed in the middle, and when the side seam is far away from the dart, and because it's funny looking. So most times when I'm doing drafting for other people, I don't use standard. I used their waist size, exactly size, before adding the 2, and that's what gives me their dart, because I believe everyone have their own sizes. You may maybe look the same, but somehow, somewhere, you find you have a very different sizes on your body. Some people have small bust and they're big. That means small breast rather, and they're big. That means their bust size will reduce definitely. And some people have big breast and their stomach, they are small. As well, the bust size will increase definitely. So I will bring this to bust. Let us just see. Yes, can you see that? it's 3.5. That means me, I do standard. I don't know if you do standard, the best way you can do is you get the actual size, especially when you have done it on the draft. Make sure you get the actual size by dividing the actual dart by the size of your waist by 2. So again, I'm going to do this vertical line for a dart. Yes, so that is for a dart. And then for a dart, how about we call A, B, C, D. We call this A, B, C, and this is D, okay? So we give it D. And now, how do we shape the dart? For a dart, those of you who have breasts, and especially for an adult like me, I have breast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give space for my breast. So that means from my bust, you see how big my breast has gone. I will drop here. I will start my dart will start right from this point. That means I'm not going to start my dart from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop 2 inches from this bust line to down. I'm going to drop here 2 inches, and this is where I'm going to start my dart of triangle formatting. So I'm going to carry away my 1 inch and bring it here by giving it half on each side, half an inch, half an inch. That means that is 0.5 inch, 0.5 inch. And I will get my ruler right join from this part where I've moved 2 inch down, and this is the point here and here. You see that? So that is my dart. Yes. So from point 0 to point 8, please, we are just doing shaping here, and we have done one dart, and that is the middle dart. So we shall do the back part, and it's the same. So please, the back part has that few adjustment. That is going to be our part 3. So this is our part 2 for the basic front bodice. May you please get this, and where you cannot understand it, let me know, and I'm going to give you details on the points. That way you'll be able to follow it and understand it. Please, this formula is very important, and if you like this video, please give me thumb up, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to it. I really love you, and I pray that you can get something from here. Thank you so much. So let's meet on part 3 on how to draft the back part. This is the end of in front part. Stay blessed and stay tuned. Thank you so much.